What are the different types of closure exercise options?
Sure. And this will relate to registration. So if I didn't fully answer that question. Okay, so there's a thesis. I think people have a pretty intuitive sense of what a thesis is, but it's original research. You have a research question, a research design. If you have taken 502, I mean, you will by the time you take 590, this should really explain to you how to set up a research design. And then you should have original data that you have you don't have to have it in your possession yet, but you should have an idea of an original, a set of data or cases that you want to analyze to answer your question. And then you're writing a long-term paper, a thesis, it's maybe 30, 50 pages, really depending on the data and methods that are used, but it's an expanded term paper. It's something that should look kind of like what a political science journal article looks like. So, I mean, that's what you're trying to do, is you're showing that I can do this kind of research because I'm a budding junior political scientist. So that's what a thesis is like. The comprehensive exam is very similar to what PhD students do before they go on to write their dissertation, which is kind of like a huge thesis. And so a comprehensive exam at the master's level asks students to pick a topic from political science, pick a body of research on a topic, and then create an independent study class for themselves. So basically, when you're in 590 and you're doing the exam, which is what a lot of our graduate students do, you're basically picking a topic that you're super interested in, and you want to read about it, political science journal articles mostly, all semester. And then you're going to read all these articles about this topic. You're going to take notes on them. And you're going to take notes on them that are not super long. You can take long notes, but you're going to try to summarize your notes concisely in an annotated bibliography, which you may have done in high school. You're going to take these notes and you're going to save these, and you're going to submit them to your chair, the person who's going to oversee your closure exam. And then they're going to actually write questions that you're going to answer in a 4-day take-home written exam based on everything you've read. So your advisor, your chair, they get these notes from you, and they write you questions, and then they send you the questions, and you pick when you're going to do it. But you use your notes based on everything you've read to answer the questions. So it's similar to when you write a term paper at the end of your class, or like these long form essays that a lot of us have you do in our courses. It's like that, but it's tailored individually to you. Now, the project is a little less frequently used. It's actually very, very rarely done. I'll say very few people complete a project. A project is sort of a category that we have for the closure for people who already work in a government agency, let's say, and they are able to do something related to their professional employment that they can turn into some sort of a very narrowly tailored exercise. And so if you're interested in a project, you should, think a lot about what would qualify you in your current position to use your expertise to do a project. And one of the examples is people will do like a participant observation case study of an agency that they work in. And so they may actually produce, lots of data and information based on their experiences, but then combine it with the literature, and they would produce a report. So I've not overseen projects of that style. So that's something, in rare circumstances, would that be really encouraged for you to do? Another kind of project that students sometimes do, and this is also pretty rare, is occasionally we will have a student design a class online on Canvas. And when they do that, they create an entire class, and they spend a semester doing it. And they create the assignments and create the lectures and create everything. And so sometimes that happens too, but those need to be approved. And so for each of these exercises, and this is how you register for 590. So not only do you have to find a faculty member who wants to oversee your closure, who has time to oversee it. We all want to, but basically you got to find somebody who, has the time and who also has a little bit of knowledge about your topic. Although they don't really have to have tons of knowledge about it, because we can all kind of oversee all the closures depending on what your topic is. But you submit a proposal. Now, the proposals are described on the website in terms of the requirements, but a proposal for a thesis, that's like a thesis proposal is about a 10-page paper with your research question, the way you're going to go about your research design, and then some initial either description of your data or maybe a little bit of background research. So, you submit that to the person that you want to work with after you've asked them, will you work with me? Or maybe when you're asking them. If you really want to get approved, you submit a proposal and say, here, I want to do this project, will you oversee it? And then the faculty member will say yes, no, or they'll suggest somebody else if they don't have time. So then they will give you permission to register for 590. That's what thesis proposal is, also pretty intuitive because you've probably done exercises like this in different classes. The comprehensive exam proposal. And this is, again, most people do a comprehensive exam. So that is your topic, like a 1-sentence thing. And it's not even a research question. It's not. It can be. Some people do a research question. You do not need to. Your topic. I just oversaw 2 closure exams today, like the final aspect of them, because they have 2 components. One of them was on voting laws related to voter registration and expanding voter turnout. Their topic was basically like voting laws and elections. So in a proposal, they would write voting laws and elections in the states, and then they would show me an example of some sources that they would read for their independent study, for their 590. And it would be a list of like 10 sources that they find in the library through Google Scholar or one of the other databases that are available that show you where the political science research is. Everything should be scholarly, peer-reviewed journal articles, not like news sources. And so it would be an example to show the faculty member that the student has a topic in mind. And you can talk to people to get ideas about topics. I mean, like that's like, we've got lists of them and we can give you ideas. You don't have to do something like no one's ever done. Every closure is unique anyway. So you have a topic, and then when you show the list of initial sources, and this is kind of the thing that I think people, until you're doing it, it can seem a little bit, this is like mysterious, but you want to show the faculty member that you know where to find some information about this and that you've put a little bit of thought into it, but it doesn't need to be very long. You get that approved, you're good to go. Now the project proposal would be really different. And so I don't want to go into that because they're so rare, but that would be, your advisor could kind of tell you what they wanted for that. But again, it's just a proposal. It's like you writing something up saying, here's what I'm going to do. Somebody might be happy with like 2 pages if they trust you that you're going to, execute the thing. So those are the different kinds. And what I will say, and this is probably going to be asked in the next question, is that a lot of us have examples to share with you. So if you are curious, like, what does this look like? I have an example, and we can make this available to people afterward, of what a closure exam proposal looks like. I have several examples of that. I have examples of what the closure exam questions look like. I can show you that. I've got the exams. You can see that, all of it. And then the only other thing to add about the closure exam, and that's the thing I was doing today, is that it is followed up by an oral examination. This is not scary. This is actually pretty fun. I just had 2 of them today with students who had done their written exams. And in the oral examination, your closure chair and the other faculty member on the committee, because there's 2 people on these committees for the closure exam, they talk to you about your written questions. They don't ask you anything that's not within what you've been writing about or researching. They just ask you, like, so what do you think about this stuff? So what was missing, or what was the most important thing that you learned? Or in your answer on page 10, you said this thing and I'm not really sure I understand what you meant. Can you clarify it for me? That's an hour-long conversation, and then you're done. You get your degree. So those are really fun. You get to see kind of all the progress people have made, and then you get to talk to them about like where they're going next. So those are really cool. So those are the components of the oral exam. And that's the thing people are the most confused about, because I think a thesis, people know what it is. And so that's why I wanted to spend a little more time on the exam.